Shadow Binders is back in stock on shopclownfish.com. That's shopclownfish.com. If you missed our Indiegogo, now's your chance. You can get the books again. And now on with the show. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney.
Oh boy. I was just looking at that crowd and I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah, I know.
That's 2018 though, so.
Yeah, it's going to be worse now.
I'm sure it is.
It is. Anyway, we're going to talk about Disney doubling down, Dismal Disney, doubling down on their diversity and inclusion endeavors. We're seeing...
That's a lot of
Disney. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the catch. Some Disney fans caught that Disney World has removed the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls classic line from their fireworks show. Now, anyone who's been to a Disney park knows, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls prefaces a lot of different announcements at the park. And
the fireworks have been taken down after the pandemic. They were just brought back officially yesterday. However, there was a cast member preview on the night of the 29th. The cast members were allowed to come to the fireworks. So it was picked up then by people that were there. So I didn't actually put this on Pirates and Princesses because honestly, I don't think it's that big a deal. But it's just indicative of all the other stuff that goes on.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because while Disney is trying to virtue signal very hard to be like, look how diverse and inclusive we are. We're gonna use gender neutral terminology for the fireworks show because I don't think many people were terribly offended, but this is part of that diversity and inclusion push. Meanwhile, we're going to make Disney so damn expensive that only the wealthy can afford it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 204,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years.
We go there often.
We go there often. We're actually going to be going a couple times this year.
At least, yeah.
And, so you have the Pirates and Princesses blog.
Right. That's why we go so much, because I have this blog. And I always get these people like, well, don't give them your money. And it's like, which is better? Not giving their money, or the fact that I have a blog that I know is on the notorious list because I call shit out and I bring it to people's attention. So I don't just sit there and take it. And if something's good, I'll say it's good. And if something's bad, I'll say it's bad. And that's just the way it is. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
So let's back this up a little bit. Before they change the welcome announcement, the fireworks, to be more inclusive, to remove gender, Disney, we know they've been doubling down on everything related to diversity and inclusion. It feels like they have a third, I think they said they have a third party.
They do. They have a diversity inclusion group. But what's funny to me is some of the choices they make are weird, like the Jungle Cruise. They had to take out Trader Sam because they said, well, Trader Sam is a stereotype. Okay, fine. But at the end, instead of putting Trader Sam in it, where they put Trader Sam, they put that it was the lost and found. But Trader Sam had taken it over and now was selling basically stolen items that were lost and found that he was taking and selling. So it's kind of fencing items. And they changed that.
Yeah.
I think that's an improvement. And I'm just like, they also replaced the natives with chimpanzees. And but what was really funny was they went to like the animal kingdom and talked to their animal experts to make sure that they were being authentic to the animatronic chimpanzees because they didn't want people laughing at them. I actually have the quote in one of my articles that's saying that. So I'm not just making this up. There's an actual quote that says this.
I mean, this has been kind of a long time coming, going back to Pirates of the Caribbean, where they changed the wench auction. And I understand rides need to be updated and all of that, but this is like a lot of change at once.
And I love how they try to like diversity and inclusion, but what they keep doing? They never ask the redheads. They want their character changed in the Pirates ride. No. Do they ask the redheads? Do you want your character changed in the Little Mermaid movie? No. Well, I mean, if they give her red hair, then it's fine. I honestly have no problem with it as long as they make her a redhead. But I'm just like, we keep seeing this over and over again, and it's like it's. A lot of times they make these changes that no one was complaining about, or very, very few were complaining about it.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very few. This is all about, this right here, getting all the media outlets to pick it up and talk about it so everybody can be like, gosh, Disney's such a diverse and inclusive place. We need to go book a trip, even though, it's getting to the point where it's so damn expensive, the average person can't book a trip. Now, a lot of Disney fans are not real happy about a lot of the changes. They do seem to be kind of arbitrary. I think a lot of people realize that, some of these attractions were built during a different era. I think most normal people, not Twitter, but most normal people realize an attraction built in the 50s or 60s is going to be different than one built current year.
Well, they announced it like a year ago, and they still haven't taken it down for changes yet.
Oh, Splash Mountain, yeah. So Splash Mountain, they're going to replace the Song of the South characters with Princess and the Frog. And again, it's one of those things where it looks like it's for diversity and inclusion because people have a problem with Song of the South, but in reality, it's probably about pushing princess merch.
Yeah, I'm honestly thinking that's probably what it is. But it's been a year and they still haven't taken it down. They haven't brought back fast passes either, so it's probably more of a traffic issue. Like they don't want, if they take a ride down, it causes a lot more congestion other places. Yeah. So it's probably a matter of they're not taking it down until then. But they're not going to listen to the petition. They're already going to do it, and it was rumored they were going to do it before last year. They just used last year because they knew people wouldn't fight back as much if they announced it then.
Yeah,
with what was going on at the time.
So anyway, Insider picked it up. I think the first people to talk about it was WDW News Today.
Probably they usually catch this stuff first,
and they got it from Twitter, and they actually put the announcement on Twitter, but we'll go with the insider version of it. Disney World has removed the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls greeting from its Magic Kingdom fireworks show.
I can even hear it in my head. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah.
I know. And it's classic. Anyone who visits the parks, they know that. That means it's time to get ready for, fireworks or parade or some kind of special something. And now it's changed. Disney World has made another change in Florida as part of the company's initiative to become more inclusive. Employees were invited to a cast member preview of the Happily Ever After fireworks show at Magic Kingdom on Wednesday. The event was the first fireworks showing hosted at Disney World since the nightly shows were halted due to the pandemic. While the fireworks show seemingly remains unchanged, people just probably haven't got the changes yet.
I don't think it's changed really that much from what I've heard.
It remains unchanged. The pre-show recording is different. As heard in the video shared by employees, Disney World has replaced the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls greeting with one that says, "Good evening, dreamers of all ages."
Now, see, I don't honestly think that that's terrible. I mean, it could be worse. And to me, you have to pick your battles here. And this one I don't think is that much of a difference. I mean, I think it still is appropriate and it's not terrible. That's why I didn't even cover it, because I didn't think it was worth, getting upset about that one. I'd be more upset about things like over what they're doing at Epcot for Harmonious, where they have those ugly barges in the middle of the water that they used to, if you're at the other Illuminations, they would actually bring them in and out so it wouldn't, disrupt the look of the area. No, they got these giant, big ass, they almost look like the thing from, what was the movie with the circle?
Oh, Stargate.
Stargate. It looks like a Stargate. It looks like a flipping Stargate in the middle of the water, and then these things are up all the time, and it might be in a really impressive show, but it's flipping ugly during the day. And I'm more upset about things like that than I am about Good Evening Dreamers of all ages. I think you have to pick your battles.
I think in this case, what's going to happen, though, is they're going to start changing more and more and more. And
we know this.
There were rumors that they were going to change the Hall of Presidents. They were going to get Lin-Manuel Miranda to change it. To be fair,
though, the Hall of Presidents is boring as hell. Most people don't go. I know. Sorry, Mom, because I know you love that one.
Sorry, that's a different story, Mom.
It's boring. Most people don't. Most people bypass it. It's a good place to go if you're hot and you want to get cooled off. But most people don't go to the Hall of Presidents. I was thinking you're going to bring up, they kept saying they were going to change character dialogue, character voiceovers to make sure they're coded with the right types of voice actors.
Yeah.
They said they were going to do that. I don't think they've done that yet either.
I think that there was at the beginning. Now, here's what's interesting. They said they have not commented on the change. Disney has made numerous efforts in recent months and years, but mostly months, to become a more welcoming place. They're not going to comment on it because I think what happens is when they comment on it, like they did with The Princess and the Frog. Again, this is something that had been talked about for years. They didn't just wake up one day and say, "Hey, we're going to retheme it." No, they've been talking about retheming Splash Mountain for 10 plus years.
I caught an oopsie. In 2020, Disney announced they would turn Splash Mountain attraction into its U.S. theme parks into Prince and the Frog.
Well, that is a bigger change.
Oopsie, insider.
Oopsie. That's a bigger change than we were expecting.
Princess and the Frog, not Prince and the Frog. Well, I guess I bet that must be why they're getting that new announcement.
There we go. Yeah, so anyway, I just, the update was announced shortly after an online petition. No.
That's not what happened.
That's not what happened. That artwork was not something they whipped up in 2 weeks. The Princess and the Frog overlay has been discussed for years. Actually,
Yes.
I think had Princess and the Frog done better in the theaters, because it really didn't do that well.
It was a good movie, though. I don't know why I never.
Yeah, it was a
I
good
was
movie.
surprised it didn't do that well.
It almost feels like they designed it to potentially replace Splash Mountain, because it takes place in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Splash Mountain in Disneyland?
In New Orleans Square.
Right next to New Orleans. Yeah. So.
That's actually Pinky Boo's favorite princess.
Yeah.
First movie she went to see.
It's her favorite ride.
And so Splash Mountain's her favorite ride. She says so. She personally has no problem with it. It's not. She is not thrilled about the change, but she since Tiana's her favorite, she's like, yeah, okay. But here's the thing. They kept saying it's an online petition. The online petition in question here had very few signatures, comparative to the one where, like, we're talking like 21,000 on the one to get rid of it, 90-some thousand on the one to keep it. And they never listen to petitions any other time.
No, they don't.
So that's their way of trying to cover their ass.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is they've been wanting to change it for a while. It's been rumored for a while. The art was likely made a while ago, but they didn't want to announce it because they knew if they announced it, people would have a shit fit. And then last year, with all the stuff going on last summer, and like end of May and into June, they thought, well, now's a good time to announce it, because you'll find Disney's tricky this way, and they try to figure out how to manipulate your feelings and emotions and manipulate the media. So they released the announcement then, because then if you disagree with it, you're a bad person, and you have to go along with what they were going to do to begin with. Yeah. That's what happened.
And really, at the end of the day, it probably has less to do with a legit concern about racism than it does to do with selling more princess merchandise.
You know, here's the thing. For me, I think I'd have more respect if they were just upfront about it instead of them always trying to manipulate. It's always about how they're going to, their commercials, everything you look, if you sit and look at it, it's always how they can manipulate your emotions to get you to spend more money. I think I'd be more okay with things they're just like upfront about it. Like, yeah, we know some people are pissed about it, but we can sell more princess merch. Okay, and if they said that, people might not have been as upset about it. Actually, people might have been more accepting of it because they were at least being honest. But no, we don't get that. But yeah, the other thing. So the other part of this whole thing is they want to make all these changes for diversity and inclusion, but their prices aren't exactly inclusive.
No.
And for like most people.
How many employees did they get rid of during the pandemic? Like 32,000 employees?
Yeah, it was like 32,000.
Just cut them loose.
They brought a lot of them back, but a lot of them haven't returned yet either. Yeah. So a couple things going on here. That they've been under fire for lately is they keep raising prices. We already know that in Disneyland, they took away their annual pass. They're going to bring back some membership program, which you know damn well is not going to be anywhere as near as good as what they had before. And it's probably going to cost the same or more. Their new thing they're doing is now they're going to start early theme park entry. They're not saying extra magic hours. It's probably going to be like half an hour early or something like that for resort guests. But the kicker wasn't that. The kicker was extended evening hours. And they're going to start extended evening hours. Let me go down here for a minute because I want to write this article. So in addition, with the kickoff of the 50th anniversary, guests staying at one of the Disney Deluxe or Disney Villa Resort hotels will be able to enjoy extended evening hours on select nights in select theme parks. Extended evening hours will begin early in October, and with specific dates and parks be shared at a later time. Basically, if you shell out a shit ton of money, which is give them reason to charge more for the deluxe hotels anyway. Right. If you spend a lot of money at the deluxe or the villa resort hotels, then you and your family get extra hours in the park that the riffraff poor people don't get to have.
Well, that's not very inclusive of you, Disney.
No, because it only matters when it's something they can bank on to try to get people to come to their park and get accolades for themselves.
Yeah, and these, deluxe resorts, for those of you who haven't stayed at, on property at Disney World, we're talking $400, $500, $600, $700 a night.
Sometimes more if it's like the Riviera or even
$1,000
Polynesian or depending where you're at in the hotel. Lots of money. I mean, and so basically the people that are rich and already paying a lot of money will get extra perks over the people who, don't have the money or just, don't want to spend that kind of money on a hotel room. It's a kind of shit, basically. Well, they're renovating their contemporary and they're trying to do some extra rooms for DVC for Polynesian. So with their deluxes, they want to make more money out of it.
Yeah.
They'll get more money if people think they're getting special perks.
Well, that's all they're building now are deluxes and DVCs.
Yeah, that's why, because they're, well, here, that petition, or no, that one thing you had put up here, this one. This is something someone sent me this before, but I already covered this. And it's interesting. You go ahead and down. If you look at it, when they did a survey, I think this is the right one. Let me look. They did a survey with people, and they found out that the people that, want to go are the middle class people.
Yeah.
But the people that Disney's courting are the people with more money. So they found that people that were with a median household income of $68,000 or lower were more interested in going to Disney than those with incomes like $150,000 and higher. I don't know if it's this article or another one, but they were banking on the wealthy, but the wealthy don't want to go to Disney.
Yeah, because why go to fake Europe and Epcot when you can go to actual Europe?
Right.
For less money in some cases, you
so
know?
The people that's their biggest audience are the ones they're pushing out.
Yeah. And, for rich people, it's all about new experiences. It's all about top shelf experiences.
Oh, I mean like the Star Wars Hotel?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. The Star Wars Hotel.
I've been talking a lot, so you go ahead and talk about it.
Well, no, the Star Wars Hotel, which, again, would be a great draw for middle-class families. They're catering to the rich on that. It's going to be like a $3,000 or $4,000 weekend experience. That's going to be a one and done for most people.
Right. And the thing is, they were already talking how they were looking for white glove concierge service people to go in to be there on call for the people staying at the Skyliner Hotel when it opens next year. They're equating it to their deluxe experiences like with the cruise lines and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. But that's the audience they want. It's not the audience they're going to get. And this is just Disney in general. They keep quote unquote, course correcting to try to court certain audiences, but usually comes at the cost of losing their hardcore audience.
But they keep saying they want these rich people and all this stuff that don't really want to go to Disney. But then they turn around and do things like, changing things for diversity inclusion, for audiences. Not saying that they would be lower income audiences. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the majority of people in the world that are going to, be interested in going to Disney, usually, fall within certain income brackets. And that's usually the middle class people that want to go and that, will spend the money to go. So it's just they really don't know what the hell they're doing or who they're courting. And then you have like their Halloween event, the we talked about before, the upcharge. The whole point was you paid $140, right? And that was because it was an after hours event, which meant that it was limited, like 3 hours, but it was like super, super limited crowds. They have somehow, amazingly enough, were able to put a bunch of sold out dates, refilled them. Well, I thought it was you're paying that much money because you're supposed to be like, a handful of people there, relatively speaking, compared to the parties, which have a lot more people. Sometimes the parties can be as busier than the day in the park was. And it's supposed to be you're paying more for a more exclusive event, but it's not exclusive.
But sure, let's change the gendered language during a fireworks show because that's going to be more inclusive.
Yeah, we'll show them how inclusive we actually are. We want you all. We want everyone, but we really don't.
We want everyone, especially if you're rich. We just really just Disney just come out and say it. We want rich people.
And well, this is not new. I mean, but they're doubling down on it again.
They did this before.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
With the stupid cabanas or whatever they had in Tomorrowland, like $1,000 a day tents they put up in. Like, what the hell? Like, Disney, you're not an exclusive vacation getaway. They think they are. They want to be. But the reality is that Disney's bread and butter historically has been, middle class families since the very beginning.
Well, why do you think when they reopen, guys, they put all their energy into the deluxe hotels opening first? A lot of them, not all of them. I mean, they were, of course, they were closer to the Magic Kingdom, but still, they opened all the parks, so it wasn't like it was just one park that they originally had said they might do. But they went with deluxe first, then moderates.
So compare this to what Universal's doing, and they just opened, some value resorts. None of their hotels at Universal are terribly expensive compared to Disney's, and they've got Nintendo coming. And meanwhile, Disney's out there building a luxury Star Wars hotel experience.
For LARPing.
But LARPers don't have the kind of cash to drop on that.
They will. They'll save a bunch to go once.
That's a one and done. Like, you would have been better off making that a restaurant or something, I think. I think it's a terrible idea. And Star Wars is on the decline. You guys have you force choked the life out of it. on multiple occasions. You had a chance with The Mandalorian, and you blew that too. So
here they're talking about the American average household spends $5,100 every month on housing. Wow, that's a lot. Around here, that people they're lucky if they get that in 2 or 3 months. On housing, transportation, food, utilities, etc. You'll spend that or most likely more to go to Disney.
Oh, they said the average Disney trip, a very modest Disney vacation, is around $6,000. That doesn't include
it doesn't include airfare. Okay, well, there are ways to get cheaper vacations than that. I can tell you for a fact. They said it doesn't include airfare, transportation, souvenir. I think it depends.
If you're smart about it.
Oh, a meal's not covered by the Disney dining plan. Well, Disney dining plan isn't
There's a
even.
rip.
It's coming back, but it's not even there, and it depends who you ask, but it's not really a good value necessarily. But maybe with Disney dining plan, okay, maybe it's that much. But there are lots of websites out there that will show you ways to save money that it will not cost you that much if you really, really want to go and you don't have a lot of money to spend. But it's still a pricey family outing.
Yeah, I would say it's more in the 4,000 to 5,000 range. But beyond, like, we used to do budget trips when the kids were little, and we could do them for around $2,000. If you're smart, go to a value. Pack some of your meals, eat your own meal.
But even then, it's
creeping up. Everything's creeping up. So I don't know. Interesting though. This is what they're worried about. This is what they're worried about. What's going to chase people off Disney is your prices.
Yeah, you're worried about that, and most people are going there don't care. I mean, a few people might be offended, but I think the majority of people weren't offended. The way you reword it, I don't think is that bad though.
No, I mean, yeah, it's not.
Like I'm saying, pick your battles.
Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.